This is Gus Summers, and you're watching In-Show Celebrities. This is the time I take every Monday to talk about some of my favorite films and actors. This week, we have another grand superstar of Hollywood. This wonderful actor has shown his acting ability in action films and family comedies. It really shows that he has a wide range and is willing to take chances in all sorts of films. Of course, I'm talking about Mr. Dwayne Johnson. He's moved on from being a wrestling superstar all the way to becoming a Hollywood megastar. He started off in high school as a football player, went on to college to play football, and even played football in Canada. But from there, after he left the Canadian League, he went into wrestling, and he's actually a wrestling legacy. Not only was his grandfather and his father wrestlers, but he himself became a major foundation in the wrestling world. Even some of the greats in that world say he has reached a strata that very few of them have ever reached. Then, of course, he became such a huge name in the wrestling world. It was only inevitable that Hollywood would come calling. And they did. In one of his first films, he was one of the highest paid actors for a first-time role. He got $5 million for his role in The Scorpion King. Well, first up is a great action movie. He starred alongside one of Hollywood's biggest actors. The film, Rundown. He plays Beck, basically an enforcer. He works for Walker. He's a rich guy who's underworld connected, portrayed wonderfully by another grand actor, William Lucking. He's always, that tough and gritty, usually an underworld type. But he basically owns Beck. And, in the opening scenes, great opening scene, he has to go retrieve some collateral from a football player, a quarterback. He goes into the bar, and he's trying to talk to the guy, saying, hey, you owe Walker some cash, we need some collateral. The guy throws champagne in his face. Some of the other football players come up and tell him to leave, so he leaves. He calls Walker and says, the entire offensive line is here. He's not giving it up. He goes, oh, what do you think I'm paying you for? Go get it. So then he just goes back in there and says, you got two choices, and that's kind of his whole thing through the movie. You got option A, which is to give me the ring, or option B, I make you give me the ring. And the guy said, well, I'll take option B, and all the offensive line starts to come, and boom, he just wastes them all. It's great. There's some wrestling moves in there, but he does some martial arts and stuff. Great opening scene. And he ends up, getting the guy. He throws his record player at it and hits him. Steps on his hand and takes his ring. Great scene. But then Beck goes and tells Walker, okay, this is my last job. Give me my money. And Walker says, no, you got one more job. You have to go down to South America and get my son. He's a loser. He's terrible, but I need him back because he did some things in Chicago. They're wanting him, so I need you to go get him. That's your last job. I'll give you all sorts. I'll give you $250,000, which he's been trying to raise so he can open a restaurant. So reluctantly, he agrees. Beck goes to South America, and he's looking for Walker's son, Travis. Travis is wonderful actor. He's always done these great, comedic roles. Sean William Scott. He's great when he has his ability to be sarcastic and biting, but in a fun way. Hey, way to go, big guy. Look it out, and you want to get him. Anyways, you find out that Travis, Sean William Scott, is down there because he's like an archaeologist of type, and he was looking for this particular artifact down there. And this is where you run into another character there. She's from the area, and she's from this particular village, and then later you find out that she's more involved than you presume she was to be. Mariana, wonderful, wonderful actor. Rosario Dawson. They say she first starts off as being a bartender, and then just talking with Dwayne Johnson about what's happening in the town. Well, Dwayne Johnson quickly finds Travis, Sean William Scott, and he's ready to take him back, but there's a problem. There is a company that basically runs the whole area. They dig for gold. They're miners. It's a farm-based company, and the man in charge, who just he's the nemesis. He's the bad guy. He's the one everyone hates. Of course, the incredible Christopher Walken. Right away. I mean, everything starts quick. What I liked about the film is that everything moves quickly, but not too quickly where it's giving too much away. But you understand what's happening. You're wondering how everyone's going to get out of their dilemmas. So Christopher Walken comes in and tells Beck, you can't take Travis. I need him. He has a particular artifact I'm looking for. So no can do. And then there's a big brawl in the bar, and Travis and Beck escape. And they're driving through the jungle. They crash, and Travis makes them crash to go down this mountain. They tumble down the edge of a mountain, all the way down. Anyways, they're caught by these rebel people who want to basically kill Christopher Walken and get rid of this mining company. And and they're not the rebels aren't sure who Beck and Travis are, and so Travis says, "Oh yeah, he wants to challenge you to a fight." Well, the rebels are like trained fighters in the martial arts, so they all basically start beating on Beck, and they're able to fly through vines, and they do these crazy jumps, and he's all gets thrown every way, but. Of course, he stands up and he's able to fight back, and they end up becoming friends after. But great film. Like I said, it's fun. The acting's great. I mean, you have great actors. All these actors, really know their stuff. And of course, Dwayne Johnson. It's an action role, but it's a friendly role, and it's not over the top, but just in that sweet spot where I know you enjoy it. Great film. Great film. Well, the next one is one of his family-friendly films. He went through a few years where he was doing these Disney films and such. And again, what works well. What works well with these films is that he's a nice guy. He comes across as being funny. Every film you see, even when he hosts TV shows and such, he comes off, he really gets into the role, whatever it is, and has fun with it. Well, this role, I think, fit in perfect because he happened to be a football player. The film, The Game Plan. He plays a Joe Kingman. He's a quarterback for a football team, professional football team, and just arrogant as arrogant comes. Of course, big Elvis fan. All right, that's a big plus. But he's a single guy, lives, makes, multimillionaires, spends money like crazy. He has a lavish apartment, has everything remote controlled by his iPad, dates models and such. And so, he's living the high life. And he's about to go on to, they're in the finals, ready to go on to the championship and stuff. So everything's going perfect. And then one day he gets a knock on the door, and a little girl is there. And he's all, who are you? And your father's probably looking for you. He goes, well, my father isn't looking for me. He's looking at me. And he's all, what? He goes, you're my father. And he goes, no, it's impossible. I can't be. And so that's where the story begins with his daughter, Peyton, played wonderfully by Madison Pattis. She has these curly little hairs, you know, the curly little hair, big brown eyes, you know. And he says, "Don't look at me with those eyes." Uh, so you find out that he was in his college years. He was married for a short time, and ended up having a daughter that he didn't know about. They got divorced. They went their separate ways. Apparently, what happened is that she got pregnant, and he went on to become a football star. Well, he calls in his agent, Stella, and I love the character, but she's this typical uh, agent as you would think they are. You know, hard pressed, hard nosed, straight to the point. It's, you know, how can we get rid of this? How can we, you know, handle this, and so on and so forth. Portrayed wonderfully again by Kira Sedgwick. You know, she captures these roles perfect. I think she was perfectly cast for this. So she's trying to figure out what's going on, and she wants him to tread lightly, because right now he has a wonderful image, and if he does anything contrary to that, it would hurt him. So if he pushes her away, pushes his daughter away, and doesn't want anything to do with her, it's going to show you that you're a bad guy, but you're actually a nice guy. So let's tread lightly. So long story short, she is his daughter, and he starts, you know, she lives with him. Where's your mother? Well, she's in Africa. Why is she in Africa? She works for, you know, a peacekeeping group. They're bringing water to the, you know, to the thirsty children of the Sudan. And so, okay, wow. And so she starts to, you know, live with him and starts to take over his life. Now he goes from a bachelor dad to, you know, a bachelor man to a dad. And so she bedazzles, you know, his different trophies. She takes over his bed. He has a pet dog, pet bull that, you know, falls in love with her. And he goes, "You traitor! Why are you going with her?" And so he starts taking her to workouts, games, his nightlife. He has a particular. There was a restaurant. He has a restaurant. He had an opening. He left her there. And the next morning, everyone's like hating on him. But I love the scene because she tells him, "Well, you know, be easy with him. He's a new father. He doesn't know quite what to do." And they're all like, "Oh." The news people are like, "Oh, she's so wonderful." And then he's Kira Sedgwick is all, "Oh man, she's good." And the dad's all, "Oh, thank you," quietly, and she's all, "It's gonna cost you." So, you know, great little scenes. But while she's with him, she says, "You know, I need to go to ballet class. You need to put me in ballet class." So they find a school run by Monique, another delightful actress, Rosalind Sanchez. She's the teacher who runs the school and is very prim and proper and very hard. This is a professional school. We just don't take anybody. And she sees her dance. She says, "Oh, okay. Well, she looks like she has training, so, I'll let her in." And he's, "Oh, okay, great. Well, I'll be back." She says, "No, this isn't a daycare. This is a professional school. You need to make a commitment. We're the way we need to make a commitment." And he's all right, whatever. He ends up showing up late, doing all kinds of things, and she just grills into him, and he's okay, all right, fine. I'll be there. I'm showing I'm serious. And what again, you have these wonderful scenes that really show how he's willing to change. He's the ultimate jock, the ultimate guy with the perfect life, and of course, life throws this wrench in there. And then it shows how he's willing to adapt. So it really shows that he's a nice guy. He has his football team, written wonderfully because they're there. They love him. He loves them. They're supportive. He has a friend, Travis, another Travis, played by a Morris Chestnut. He's the family man of the group, and he tries to tell him, you have to treat her like this. Don't have this type of nanny. Do this and such and so forth. And at first he doesn't pay attention, but then he does. And again, what I like about the film is that his Dwayne Johnson's ability to show love and compassion and change. He went from most arrogant guy to a family guy, because he ends up starting to have feelings for Rosalind Sanchez and her with him, because at first they're at opposite ends of each other, of how to treat children. And then she's in ballet, he's in sports, and he starts saying, well, ballet isn't a sport, football is a sport. She goes, really? Come and try out ballet. And you see him trying to do ballet. There comes a moment where he's trying to drink water standing. It's this is hard. I don't know if you ever tried ballet, if anyone's taken a class, it's brutal. It's brutal, the strength training that they have to go through. It's try it. If you haven't tried, you got to at least take like a semester or something. But it's it's brutal on you. But anyways, great family fun. Ends up being wonderfully, ends nice. It's like I said, it's a family-friendly movie, and of course, he's a big Elvis fan throughout the whole thing. So you see Elvis memorabilia all around. He even sings at one point. But great film. I know you enjoy it. Last film. It's a mix between like an 80s action film with a guy with a purpose, and nothing's gonna stop him. The movie, Faster. He plays driver. The film, the men don't even have names. They're just known by their titles. So he's driver. What happens to him is, in the beginning, you see him in prison, and he's let out. Apparently, he was in there for 10 years, and he's out now to seek revenge. And he ends up going to get his wonderful car that's been sitting there for 10 years. And of course, it's a film. The engine starts right away. It's a great black Chevelle, a 1970 Chevelle, and he turns it off, boom, takes off, and right away he goes to a business with a bunch of cubicles, walks up to a guy and just shoots him, boom, and that's it. Leaves, and everyone's going crazy. What you find out is he was the driver of a bank job, of a bank group. His brother was one of them, and he had two accomplices. Well, after they got back to their safe house, another group came, killed almost everybody except him, killed his brother, slit his throat right in front of him, and they took $12 million. I think it was something like that. And so now he's out seeking revenge for his brother. He carries this picture of his brother with him all the time and always looking at him. Now he knows almost everybody who was in that second group, so he's now hunting them down. So now, he's on this rampage, and then in comes a couple of detectives. And, great actors. The first one you see is just named Cop. That's his name, Cop. And he's again another actor, wonderful actor, Billy Bob Thornton. He's loved him in this role. For me, it showed that he has these little things that he does that really captures the character and really draws you in. So basically, he's a cop with lots of problems, and you begin to see them right away. And by the time you realize he's a police officer, you're like, he's a cop? Really? Wow, where is this going to lead? And then he's partnered up with another delightful actress. She's been around doing action films, all sorts of films for quite a while. She's teamed up with Dwayne Johnson at least 3 different times. But wonderful actress. Carla Gugino. She plays a Cicero. The women are basically the only ones that have names. All the men just have descriptions. So she's running the case, finds out that Billy Bob Thornton has been assigned to the case and knows that he's a screw-up, and no one wants to work with him. And he basically says, I'm going to retire in 10 days. This is the last case. I just want to work the case and get out of here. And so, she's really hard on him, but, kind of begins to get to know him and kind of, brings him into the case little by little. So they start following Driver, Dwayne Johnson, around trying to figure out, what's happening. He ends up going after a second mark on his page. He has a piece of paper with names on it. And before he gets there, you see the film cut to another character. You see this young guy, doing yoga, doing all these different moves, and he's called Killer. So he's the killer. He gets hired by someone to go hunt down Dwayne Johnson. So now you have this cast of characters. You have Driver hunting down, these past criminals, cop looking for Driver, and now you have Killer looking for Driver. So you have these cast of characters. Killer, another great up and coming actor, Oliver Jackson-Cohen. Yeah, so he's really wealthy. He drives expensive cars, lives in a lavish home, and he has a wonderful partner. I guess she's his girlfriend, fiance. Like I said, the ladies have names. Her name's Lily. You'll remember her from another great film. It's Maggie Grace. She, of course, we know her as the daughter in of Liam Neeson's movie Taken. So she's here. She's his girlfriend, fiance, and she's encouraging him, and let's do this thing, and knows what he does, and is there for support and love for him. Even see her, shooting guns with him and all sorts of things. So there's a great scene. Dwayne Johnson goes to his next mark and gets there, takes care of him. As he's walking out, Killer's there waiting for him, and he knows there's something up. And he has this great snub-nosed revolver, now nickel-plated, great gun. And he pulls it, and he just starts shooting in the hallway. Boom, 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 boom. And Killer shoots back. Boom, boom. And Dwayne Johnson's just walking towards him. Boom, 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 boom. And the Killer's just like, whoa. So Dwayne Johnson ends up leaving. I don't know, not quite escaping because, they were in a great gunfight. But what's interesting is that Killer kind of analyzes him. And he says, wow, he's interesting. He has no fear. He's just dedicated to this. And it starts getting into his head, the Killer, into Oliver Jackson-Cohen's head. So it's interesting. You do have to suspend some reality because, of course, the police know who Dwayne Johnson is. His picture's all over the television. No one's reporting seeing him driving through the city. And he's driving everywhere in the same car. So, some of this you have to suspend. But, all in all, if you do that and you look at the film, of course, as always, the acting's good. The film in itself is, you can see, wow, of course, this will be happening to Billy Bob Thornton because he has his own life and is dealing with his own demons. Same with Oliver Jackson-Cohen. Same with Dwayne Johnson, the Driver. And they all converge in how it is that they work themselves out. But I know if you watch it, you'll enjoy it. Great film. Great film. Well, that's what we got for you today. Again, Dwayne Johnson, delightful actor. Watch almost anything. Of course, you can catch him in the Fast and the Furious, and all those other family-friendly films like The Tooth Fairy and such. I know you enjoy them. Well, that's what I got for you today. This is Gus Summers, and you've been watching In-Show Celebrities. This is the time I take every Monday to talk about my favorite films and actors. And of course, remember, don't forget to visit us every Thursday from 1 to 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time at theinshow.com, where I host The In-Show. And that's where I bring on all sorts of celebrities and guests, just talk about their projects or whatever that's on their mind. Of course, look for us on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, LinkedIn, Pinterest, Flickr, Instagram, all those great social media sites. And as always, ladies and gentlemen, Gus has left the building.